to the second set of ban phases. Of course, for those of you at home that are trying to look along with the vetoes, just have a look 1, 2, 3, 4, or of course read it like a book. That's how the bans have unfolded in front of us. Xenox, do you make much of this, or are you kind of like sitting back waiting to see how this unfolds?
Yeah, probably more so sitting back. It's a bit difficult. Obviously, we don't have as much intel and information regarding Falcons. That's just the truth of it. And obviously, we'll get to learn a little bit about them. You did obviously mention the border, and reason for that is, of course, their match against Team BDS yesterday, where they actually played very well on border. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused as to why they maybe wouldn't want to go back to that, but maybe they do feel like Villa is a map that they can have some success on. But ultimately, I think for MIBR, this should still be theirs. They've got a 73% defensive win rate on Villa, 2-1 record. They've got a +6 round differential. They do ban it out, so it's not exactly like a home map for MIBR, but yeah, Falcons are going to have to bring something crazy here.
We'll see whether that could be in the ban phase. Habana, Thatcher, nothing really out of the ordinary. I guess Habana, you could probably argue, might be a stranger ban, you know, probably more so looking to something like a Nook, if I'm being completely honest. But Habana has a lot of use when you're thinking about the pushes. Think about Study into Aviator. And of course, Bedroom all the way onto the statuary wall. There is quite a bit that you use Habana for on those hard breaching. So with MIBR banning that out, it'll be interesting to see what they go for on a defense. Please not mirror, please not mirror. It is a Kaid ban. Interesting. Well, I would say the ban phase is kind of 50-50, 50% what I expected, and maybe a little bit of a curveball toward the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Habana ban in fairness, but it's also something that we don't probably see as much of. Is it really going to have that much of an impact, whether it's available, not available? I don't think so. There's enough hard breaches available that I don't think you're really going to sort of miss the Habana per se. I don't mind Kaid and Valk and obviously Thatcher. So yeah, I'm also probably 3 out of 4. I think are pretty good here as we head to Aviator games for the first round. MIBR on the defense though, Rob. This is where they can do a lot of the damage early on here in this map. If they can get out to, you know, we saw it last night. We saw a lot of 6-0 defensive halves in our last series with Down1 Gaming and Team Liquid. I'm not saying MIBR is going to be able to replicate that, but on the defense of Villa, it's usually a pretty good match for it. Nowadays, it's probably closer to 50-50 overall, but ABG is a good site for defenders. So a good start here for MIBR is what they need.
10 seconds left before insertion.
It's going to be hard for us to kind of give any expectations for Falcons, I guess. We actually don't have a lot of information on them. Our stat tracker only limits to, I think, tier 2 teams, maybe tier 3 for some teams, but certainly Falcons for me is very much an unknown coming into this. So I am excited for them, especially coming up against, you know, MIBR, a very strong team in their own right, and a team that's got some veteran history. This is a perfect opportunity for, you know, even Saudi Arabian fans to kind of level out their expectations as to where their region is currently at. Falcons at the head of the Saudi Arabian League right now. I would imagine that this is a perfect opportunity for them to test the waters.
Yeah, it is, and that's the way they need to treat it, right? The match against BDS, the match now against MIBR, it's a wonderful learning experience for Falcons that they could take back after this event and really use it to their advantage in being able to continue to dominate locally and getting this international experience against T1 teams of the nature of BDS and MIBR cannot be understated. So it's a matter of, though, after this event, what they do with this information, what they do with this experience. It's one thing to play it, to get the experience. It's another thing to almost capture it like lightning in a bottle and be able to just sort of harness that power moving forward. So keen to see how they try and break down this defense. AVG, very defender-sided, a lot of choke points that they do have to clear out. Brown stairs here, obviously a vital one. Can they push into Study? Can they put pressure onto Aviator? But it's Riyadh that finds the opening kill. 0 kills.
Yeah, that's not the start I'm sure that they're hoping for at this point. You know, you want to be doubling down, and Riyadh has actually found himself at the bottom of main, so this is even more dangerous. Luke, it's going to be sitting there. They don't know that Riyadh is there. He's going to find a double. That is absolutely horrific for Falcons to start out here. He might find a third. Joker, with his eyes pinned to stairs, gets caught out. And this is really difficult for Q from here on out. I mean, sure, you've got a Talon Shield in front of you, but Philippe Box decides he's got to catch them all. And that is a very strong round for MIBR to start off with.
Yeah, not a surprise. On that particular site, I don't think Falcons are going to have the nous to break down the defense of MIBR. It's, as I said, a very, 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 very good defender-sided site here on Villa. Now, heading over to Stat Trophy, this is where things can be opened up a little bit more. You do have what I would consider a couple more options. You can go for a bit of a vert take down below. Kitchen area, sheets, for example, try and cause havoc from below, and then try and push into areas like Astro, bedroom. Or you can go for a bit of a south to north take and come through AVG's side, push in through study, go up top brown stairs, clear towards 90, and then push in from that side. So you've got a couple of options here if your Falcons try to break down this defense of MIBR. Also curious to see, how does MIBR set up for this? Do they put a focus down below? Do they keep a couple of roamers towards sheet, towards kitchen, or do they obviously keep more of a defensive-minded setup? Try and block areas like Astro, make it difficult to push into bedroom.
They're definitely committing I wouldn't say a fair bit of utility. There's definitely, I think, 3 reinforcements down there, a couple of barricades on the doors, as you saw, mute jammers. So without a doubt, MIBR are trying to play with us. I wouldn't say an extended roam for too long, but definitely testing the waters where, as Falcons, this is where we get to test where their attack is at. How well coordinated are they? What is their prep phase like when they're droning out? Because if they've got the drones in nice and early, they'll get a lot of intel on that. And just as we are talking about it, that's the smoke player down. And I actually believe that might have been... Yeah, I can't even see where that was. Oh, no, it was. It was on the rotate back up Astro stairs. So this is a great start for Falcons. Probably the best operator to be taking out this early on.
Yeah, and also position as well. Getting Astro completely open is so important to breaking down this defense of MIBR. It gives them a foothold that they can get close to sight. A good entry point. And for MIBR, you've now got to consider either trying to counter-aggress, look for a kill back the other way, bring it back to a 4 versus 4, or you just kind of hold tight and hold steady for the next minute and a half or so, and expect maybe Falcons to make a mistake and maybe get overzealous in some certain areas, but that's not happening right now. Full credit to Falcons. They're playing actually rather controlled. They're not overzealous. They're looking like actually a pretty standard, normal T1 kind of team. They're making the right moves, making the right plays. Now, the question is, though, are they prepared for this AVG setup from MIBR? Does that catch them out?
Well, that's it. When you saw Falcons setting up, they were certainly... when MIBR was setting up, they were spread really thinly across the map, and it might actually go to punish them. In fact, Falcons winning their ones, which I cannot tell you how crucial that is, but it should be oh my god. Raps gave me a little bit of a concern there. And unfortunately, Riyadh going down. That's Astro. That's site control gone.
Yeah, and they know that one's inside a vault as well, so it's a matter of where's Felipox if you're Falcons. Where is this mute? And he's over towards Astro. He gets this kill, and he does it. 0 kills, now has 3 kills in this round. And it's a bit of a slip-up from MIBR. Falcons severely punishing this AVG defensive setup. I mean, what was that from Raps? Slow crouch through the doorway. We'll see it from this perspective, but yeah, I mean, that is just amateur hour, all things considered. And Falcons looking like the... well, they're looking like the T1 team in that second round. MIBR got to be better than that.
I think that MIBR might not have respected Falcons enough in that round. Defense spread extremely thin. You had 2 across toward AVG. You had the mute setting up on that first floor. And obviously the smoke getting caught on the rotate back up of Astro. I mean, look, he might not have even been caught out rotating. He might have actually been trying to take a fight, in which case it's even worse. But regardless, I do think that's the kind of round for Falcons. When you're being tested, that's where you need to shine. And in every 1v1 that we saw, Falcons came out on top. So really big kickstarting round for them here. Making sure that MIBR don't get off to that 2-3-0 start, and then all of a sudden they're trying to claw this game back. Instead, no, they're going to make their statement nice and early. MIBR are going to have to temper their own pushes and probably, I would say, kind of give a little bit more respect across. But yeah, that's a very big round for Falcons, in my opinion.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, getting one on the board early is always going to be so important for Falcons. It gets them the belief, the confidence that they can sort of build from that, hey, we can contest, like we can win this map. We're just as good as them. Don't feel as if that this is, a show-in that MIBR have all of the experience and that they're, that T1 team that can just have their way with this. You need to also gain that respect by playing in that fashion, as we saw in the second round. It forces MIBR to then play a little bit better as well. But you have to give credit to Falcons. 0 kills, had a big round in that second round. But so far, what I'm liking from them is just their patience play. They're not looking like a young team that's just running in gung-ho, shift W, running around the map. They're playing this really smart, really slow, really methodical, playing, I guess, their own style. And that's the best way to win. Back your own team philosophy in.
I'm sure if you try to change things up, you're not fully prepped for it. MIBR could run amok, so really, overall, good signs from Falcons to begin with. And I mean, from our perspective, this is the kind of stuff that we want to be able to see early on as commentators to get our own expectations right. And Falcons showing a lot of calm and composure at the very, very start of this matchup. They spot out Raps. That's got it. I mean, you could almost swing there from behind and go for the shots through the wall, but instead it's actually Joker who swings, and it's gone all horribly wrong for Leapox. Absolutely destroying Falcons' hopes in this attack, and Falls is just making it even worse. Oh, God.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a case of Falcons doing well in the drone game, but then MIBR playing into that, knowing that they've been droned out, fully expecting Falcons to want to swing on that information almost straight away, and that then is a little bit haphazard. They actually had numbers there at that position. Maybe Falcons felt like that was going to be a strength, that they had the information, that they could play off of that. And it all just falls apart. And this is probably the difference, I think, in these two teams. Not so much the decision-making or the gameplay philosophy, but just the general gunplay. MIBR, you would expect to be a little bit sharper, but look at that. 6Z not messed the prone from Riyadh. Ready for those kind of plays. But MIBR, when all guns are firing, you think like you're going to have that little extra skill advantage, and Raps finishing off Q6, and MIBR do get a response after a lackluster second round.
Perfect response. Again, if we want to go down the line of stories and the journey, the campaign for these teams, MIBR, even though they falter in the second round, you've got to see them bounce back in the third. And like you said, they'd fully been droned out in living there and still managing to make that work and holding down those lines. I do want to see what MIBR are like if they can't play around, Felipox's and Lucad's, I would say, firepower. And right now we're seeing it. Reduct and Raps are both stepping up. Not heads and shoulders above the rest of the team, but definitely showing us that this is a multifaceted team. And if Falcons aren't careful, Lucad and Felipox, we saw them yesterday. We saw what happens when they get on a little bit of a steamroll. Very, very hard to slow that down. Even though it was against TSM, there were still many rounds that we were like, ooh, this should be MIBR's. Unfortunately, team effort just doesn't close it out in the end. So very much, for me, at this point, Falcons showing good enough signs that this is going to be a competitive match. And I think it's going to be about MIBR standing up and proving to not just us as commentators, but obviously all the viewers at home, that they are still one of those teams that we talked about coming into this tournament that were going to be a threat.
Yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Luke and Felipox, they were sort of the heart of MIBR against TSM, but it just wasn't enough. They didn't have the rest of the numbers. TSM were essentially a full, five-man squad that was playing with a good level of cohesion, and that was probably what was missing from MIBR, was that kind of cohesion. And I think Villa's a good site to try and build some of that. Really good choke points, really good setups that they can have here on the defense. Falls are going to be probably winning that. I mean, it is somewhat of a shoulder peak, but playing that brown stairs position, you've got to be sharp. You know that they're going to be swinging and peeking you, and he just can't quite land with the SMG-11. Hasn't thrown out his gas bait, but getting pressured early, I like that from Falcons. Don't allow time to become a factor against the smoke player as well, and they find a kill onto Raps as well elsewhere, while still getting to work here on brown stairs. I mean, Falcons wasting no time. They got the shield, and now Falls is probably forced to start throwing gas bait.
This is what we like to see from Falcons. They've got to follow up, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Fantastically played by Falcons in the first minute of this round. Phase 1 is an outstanding success for them. And now it's about for them closing this round out. They've got leads, they've got advantages. You do not want to crumble here. Be very cautious, because you know MIBR, when they're backed into a corner, will have to make these decisions, will have to go for plays, and Falcons are prepared for it. Lucan finally finds one back after 3 comrades are well and truly down.
Yeah, and MIBR just a little bit staggered there on the defense. They lose Brown Stairs, so what do? They bring the other positions that are being held away from that, and sending 2 players to Brown Stairs to try and preoccupy a position that they've already lost. I get that, but then you've weakened everything else, and then 2 players, top Brown, puts Joker in a good position to get this 1 kill. Lucan, well, didn't reposition after getting that kill onto Mad Skills, and Q6 will oblige. 2 versus 1 now, but Felipox doesn't have a lot of health. Q6 finishes off the round so far, back and forth here on Villa. Good signs from Falcons. They are here to contend.
There was a short moment where a lot of doubt flooded in for me. A 2 versus 4, you got Lucan still alive. He starts to hit his shots, and things very quickly can turn around from there. And it's one of those things, it's really hard as an attacking team to know what the best course of action is there. You've found the first 3 picks, or let's just say you found the first 2 picks, right? You've taken down the shield on Stairs, you've also taken down the smoke player. So you know that MIBR can't play defensively in the way that they would have wanted to. So the next step, or the next logical step for MIBR, is to take aggressive fights, is to try and isolate 1v1s when you're not expecting it. Case in point, Felipox jumping out of the top window by Skull and finding that kill on the player watching Study. Those are the kind of things that you kind of expect to happen. And even though Falcons dropped 2 players, the response from Q6, fantastic to see how quickly they were able to get that back under control. And I'm also going to say, that is a nightmare for a caster to try and say in a play-by-play moment. Q6 head.
Yeah, man, I just go with Q6 now. I've already learned that after 1 round. I was like, no, that's it, Q6 now. But it's really good, though, to see Falcons really being able to go toe-to-toe. We saw it with BDS, and that was kind of my assumption when I looked at those rounds. Obviously, we didn't get to cast that game. We didn't get to see the match itself. But to understand that, hey, they're taking rounds off of BDS, that means that these guys know what they're doing, right? We've seen kind of bad teams before get absolutely destroyed, 7-0, 7-1s, when they go up against teams that are clearly out of their league. To me, it doesn't seem like Falcons are out of the league of MIBR. And that they maybe weren't that far behind BDS as many people would have thought. I'm sure there was a lot of people coming into this tournament that would have thought, oh, Falcons are just there because it's kind of their home country, and so they're just getting a free ride in. But no, like, they are like a team that is clearly capable. Can they put it together for 3 maps? We'll have to wait and see. But if this was a best of 1 right now, I'd be concerned if I was MIBR. So they really need to stand up and step their game up. Otherwise, Falcons could pull off the shock upset with the way things have played out in the first 4 rounds.
Especially when we see, like, I'm keen to see as well, if they've got this level of coordination on their attack, their defense is going to be pretty solid, pretty sound. They're going to have to deal with this one player that's sitting in closet right now. This is such a traditional hold. Like, we used to see this 2 years ago, I want to say. Since then, I have struggled to see a hold in closet in this time. So I'm really excited to see, can MIBR stick this? Can Raps make something magical happen? He's got no one else with him, but he's got a lot of utility. It's the nade from 0 kills that finds it. And this is once again, another great start from Falcons. They've taken the control of closet.
Well, they have a lot of nades. They had as well, still got 5, but started off this round with a lot of utility to be able to clear out a position like that. Big ignite yourself from falls, getting the kill into Joker, so at least still maintaining site control for MIBR. 4 versus 4, but you did lose Raps, who's obviously playing pretty well at the moment. 50 seconds left in this round. J-Lad now inside of Master's bedroom and has a pretty good sightline. Over to sight. Falls has got no idea. Neither does Lucan. Oh, it's too easy for the Falcons. They are tearing apart MIBR on the attack here of Villa and are now moments away from coming up 3-2 in a staggering start. Felipox with a Nitro sub, but 0 kills. Watching from the heavens. What a start for Falcons.
This is, I mean, this is the Falcons that we all hope for, right? This is the storyline that we all love to see. Falcons, not only are they finding round wins, which is obviously a massive part of being able to actually have a successful attacking half, but for me, it's the coordination from this team. It is the composure. Something like a closet hold, I know it seems menial. I know it doesn't seem like it's difficult to deal with until you're in a competitive match and you have to deal with that in a timely manner. They dealt with Raps within, I think it was about a minute 30 seconds, and they had taken over control of closet. This team is showing me really solid signs right now, and I am really worried for MIBR. I was worried coming into this matchup after seeing, I would just say how close the game was on Border. I was kind of flicking back between our matches yesterday, and the game was really close. Like, Falcons probably could have sent that to overtime, if not closed it out. And if MIBR play even, you know, like, I would say 10% of what they did against TSM yesterday, they're going to have issues. And right now, Falcons are well and truly capitalizing on all of these mistakes that are being made. And they're not even massive mistakes. It's just a game of forced errors. And Falcons are doing a fantastic job.
Can they keep it up though? And what's the second half going to look like? We obviously don't want to get too excited too early, but whenever there's that underdog story, you do kind of fall into the trap of wanting to see it succeed and then getting your hopes crushed. But so far, all of the signs though suggesting to me that this is not, you know, random. This is not luck. That they have honestly looked like the better team. They've honestly outplayed MIBR in the first 5 rounds so far. 1 round to go to close out this half, and if they can achieve a 4-2 lead, puts them in a massive position to take this opening map of this series, and puts MIBR at the prospect of being the second team eliminated from Gamers8 already. It would be a disaster of a tournament for them.
Daylight. Not going to be gifted anything just yet, and MIBR well and truly retreating from where they'd started. Lukid at the moment, this is a big fight. He can hold down this line. It's going to make Falcons' job on this attack so hard. But Lukid decides, you know what? Let's respect this. Let's not overextend. Let's not take ones that might be even 50-50. You know, we don't want to leave this up to chance. Minute 30 left. He's fallen back from that advanced position, and now Falcons still have to deal with him. They still have to deal with this top floor roam. There's a lot that they've got to do with a minute 30 left on the board.
I think they're capable, though. They've already shown us in the clinch and in the tight moments that they can compete, they can land their shots and clear out these positions rather quickly if needed. Still a bit of time, so I'm not too worried just yet, but yeah, a little bit of work to do. Still flicking those cams and seeing what information they can gather. Credit to MIBR, they have slowed things down a bit, not getting too antsy, not playing over-aggressive positions, holding key critical choke points without over-peaking. I think they've now started to realize this is not going to be a walkover. They're going to have to play at their best. J-Lad, patience pays off, pushes in, maybe a little too aggressive, needed some cover fire, needed some help before pushing into side. Mad Skills gets the kill onto Raps though to regain the lead here for Falcons, and there's still time. 40 seconds left, and they're getting closer to taking sight and maybe taking this map. It's all too easy. 4-1 again, and it's about to be 4-2 in the first half.
Oh my word, Falcons are crushing MIBR on MIBR's defense, which we know statistically is their favored side. This is, I think, a really, really solid showing from the Saudi Arabian team. And I mean, we're just going to say it at this point. There's nothing from MIBR that makes me feel confident that they're going to be able to bring this map back. You know, this feels like momentum in Falcons. I know I've used the word composure already, but it really, like, if you look at how these rounds are playing out, they've got a minute left and they haven't been able to fully, you know, kind of take that top floor. They completely shift their attention. They come in through China. They make that move in through Pantry. And it's just so hard for MIBR to deal with. Now, let's see what their defense has. Let's see whether this is going to add an element of potentially doubt. But, I mean, I look at the... It's kind of cool to see some different lineups. I haven't seen the Mirror in a very long time, even the Bandit and the Thunderbird. I saw Thunderbird playing a little bit yesterday, actually, which we just never see in APAC. So it's always a nice treat to come and watch an international event.
Yeah, the odd round hero there. I had a quick little look at the Brazil League for Villa. 52% defensive win rate. So yeah, I guess 50-50 is the nature of the course, but evidently, regardless, it wasn't a 50-50 half. It was a Falcons half. So, and I probably hold true to the fact that even if maybe Brazil, it's only 52%, I still kind of look at Villa, especially sites like AVG, very, very good for defenders. So Falcons are in pole position to take this opening map. It is their map pick, in fairness. Something to keep in mind over the course of this entire best of 3 series, but you just can't help but be impressed by what they've been able to do and how they're doing it. You know, sometimes you can kind of win ugly, maybe because the opposition not playing all that well, but I just generally believe Falcons have played like the better team. At any time it comes down to these 4v4s, 5v5s, it's always Falcons. The only thing that MIBR can probably do to salvage this map is to start getting opening kills, start trying to get an advantage early on. They might have just almost got that. 0 kills, barely stays alive. Well, Raps can pop that adrenal surge, but 0 kills can go back to the Kona stations and heal up as well. So a trade, but won't really amount to much in the long run.
Falcons looking to potentially re-aggress across this side of the map. And I mean, when you've got this much utility here, you may as well try and fight it. J-Lad's going to be able to hold as well as Mad Skills, who's, you know, provided he can control Brick. Splits held by J-Lad. So this is just MIBR. I don't think they're going to have enough to commit here. I think they're going to have to move back to the other side of the map. And with a minute left, a split attention, you know, it's not square one that they're starting from, but this is a really solid sign for Falcons. They're going to be able to retreat back to site, potentially turtle, and make this incredibly difficult for MIBR.
Falls, barely stays alive, and they've just lost Redoct as well. Wow. On a site that's already very difficult to take for any attacking team. MIBR down 2. Filipok's got 1, but Raps traded elsewhere by Mad Skills. Luka just trying to make his way up around stairs, and he has the low ground. From this position, still no real control of top Brown. No real help at all. Joker just pops out. Filipok's the last player, but they know where he is. It's turning into a nightmare scenario for MIBR. Falcons are on cloud 9.
Oh, wow. This is really, really big danger signs for me for MIBR. I am really impressed with how we're seeing these rounds won by Falcons. Again, it's not just that they're winning the rounds, it's how they're winning these rounds. Now, again, I want to try and bring it back to the point that this is Falcons map pick, okay? This is where they feel most confident. And Villa's one of, I was going to say one of the most played sites in their domestic league, the Saudi E-Leagues, but it is actually only kind of sitting middle of the table, kind of equal 5 with Banks. So I really am a little bit shaken as to what I'm seeing right now. Solid performance, and this is the kind of start that we needed to see from Falcons in this best of 3, because very quickly a match like this could be blown out of proportions, but we're starting to see what the full force of this roster has, and I don't know whether MIBR are going to be able to handle this.
Yeah, and not to try and sound, you know, too smart, Rob, but I don't want to say I'm not surprised, but I'm not as surprised as maybe I would have been when the tournament was first announced. What we saw from Falcons yesterday showed that they have the ability to go and stand up against these T1 teams, that they can put in a good performance. Now, remembering yesterday on Border, they got up to a 4-2 lead over Team BDS, and then BDS brought back. Now, I'm not saying MIBR is going to be able to do that, but those are the lessons there for Falcons, okay? You got up, you got a lead, now you got to hold it. So you got one lesson yesterday, now you can apply what you've learned to today, and they've already shown that in that 7th round by getting that round when you got 5-2, you further extend that lead. You're 2 rounds away from taking a map against MIBR and sending them packing if they can then win a 2nd map of the next 2. Of course, best of 3, a reminder. But Falcons are clearly in the driver's seat to close out this map on the defense of Villa. You would imagine that they should be able to go back to AVG at least 2 more times and close out there at minimum.
A bomb has been located.
MIBR, there's just no two ways of putting it. Backs are up against the wall here. I don't think they've dealt with that roam down below either. And I mean, they've got the pulse. They've got everything that they could need for this round here, Falcons. I really like the lineup that they've got. This is really difficult for MIBR to deal with. They've still got Q6 that's going to be able to sit there and waste more time, but MIBR might spring to action here, force the fights, and it's not going their way. Quick trades do come back. It is 3 apiece at the moment, and MIBR, they do have Astro control.
And it's not looking good though for Falcons. They lost the smoke, they lose the pulse, they lose a lot on site, and there's a minute left. And now MIBR can slow things down a little bit if they choose to. Raps over towards top backstairs, pushing into Astro. Still one more adrenal surge available as well, and all 3 players remaining full health for MIBR. And they get rid of Mad Skills, and finally MIBR can stop this run of rounds from Falcons.
If not for Joker, it's not to be. It is not to be. MIBR, they bounce back in a critical round. That, if it goes the way of Falcons, its match point is 6-2, and at that point, with 4 rounds up their sleeves, you really just do not see it happening. But now, 5-3 looks more respectable. It looks like it's one of those places where it could come down to later, you know, like instead of this game being over by round 10, we now are going to see it well and truly into the double digits, and this is going to be a forced fight unless MIBR slip up here, which I just don't imagine they're going to. And I actually think, are we re-attempting stat? Yeah, we are.
We are, yeah.
I like that from Falcons. Just a slight little change, pulse out, and it gets the mute in. So let's wait and see how this one, and the smoke as well. Cool. I like this little change.
Yeah, it allows them to also be aggressive over towards that Astro position a little bit better. You've got the Kona stations, you've got the mute jammers to deny a bit of information. When you think about smoke, and I mean, smoke's obviously rather defensive, but the Pulse is obviously a pretty aggressive defender, looking to find information, use those micro cells, maybe a bit of vert play as well. But yeah, I think this is a better change for Falcons.
5 seconds to go.
Something that we probably saw them deploy in AVG as well, something similar. So 5-3. They find themselves in a position, though, where they were kind of in this position yesterday against Team BDS and allowed BDS back into the game. So again, it's all about applying your learnings from yesterday and closing this one out. But MIBR, I mean, they're going to be feeling the heat themselves. 4 rounds in a row went to Falcons. And they'll be feeling as if that's embarrassing for their level, for a team of their quality. But they can't allow that to happen again. Right now, though, I would honestly put money on saying this is likely to go to overtime.
Yep. That last round obviously changes quite a lot in our discussions. You know, if Falcons can stay on that momentum, if they can stay on the roller coaster, well, then things look a little bit more dangerous. Now, it is going to come down to really these individual fights that take place in the middle portions of the round. Are Falcons looking to get aggressive? Are they looking to be in the face of MIBR? Right now, the answer is no, but big thing, MIBR, they're not in the building, so there's really no need for Falcons to be forcing anything at this point. And we look to the attack to see how long this is going to take to really get into Master, to take that control. It's not going to take long at all. There's a player underneath that cannot find the kill on Raps as he makes his way into the vertical. And now, this is where control starts to lose a little bit of patience, and Falcons need to be careful not to overextend.
Yeah, really, really solid play from Raps. That's not an easy maneuver to pull off, considering while there wasn't a frost mat under that window, there was a hole, and there was someone watching that big nade as well.
Wow.
So close to getting the kill onto Mad Skills, but not enough to actually find it. A stalemate has sort of broken out here over towards this bathroom position, trying to get the player backstairs out of the game and get into Astro. And I think Raps is almost just anticipating the peak, that at some point, that player is going to peak top Astro stairs. They haven't just yet. And time then begins to become a factor, even more so when it's Q6 that finds the kill onto Riyadh. Lucan, been a bit quiet in this game. They need a little bit more from him, but not going to happen against J-Lad. The lad gets them closer to that match point. Q6 down though. Not quite out for the count just yet. 40 seconds left. 4 versus 3.
Leapox is on the flank though, and Falcons are completely missing the point there. That is huge for Leapox. He nearly finds himself a second, but Rap's not catching. J-Lad, oh, I think that was actually zero kills on the way back out. That may well give Falcons still a foothold in this game right now. 20 seconds left, 2 versus 2. Match point on the line here for Falcons.
Little cone station as well for 0 kills. Close back to full health. Joker with a headshot onto Rat. Now falls to 1 versus 2. Red side, he is located, but he is also taken down. He got 1, but he couldn't get 2. And Falcons have match point. Technically map point, of course, this being the first map of the series. Their map pick, and they are showing why. What a performance we are seeing from Team Falcons.
This is what we would have hoped for at the very start of the night. Coming into it, we wanted to see, you know, the full force that Falcons can put behind a game. MIBR, they take their time out on the what really is the ultimate round. Like this is do or die for the next 3 rounds for MIBR. There is no better time to take it because, well, this is it. If you cannot come, if you cannot recompose, you're going to be in serious issues. Overall, though, Falcons really, really have impressed me here on Villa. Their versatility on their defensive lineup, the composure on their attacks. I want to say that this is probably one of the better performances from a team, like an underdog team that we've seen, at least on the B stream. Obviously, we didn't get to see Wild yesterday here, which I'm sure would have been equally as impressive, but this is such good signs, not just for Falcons, but also, you know, for the MENA region. This is definitely a big win.
Now, I will say, it seems like there's a lot of Falcons fans in chat. Don't get too excited just yet. The map that we go to after this, Rob, is Kafe.
Yeah.
And here's just some of the numbers from MIBR. 4-0 plus 21 round differential, 83% attacking win rate, 76% defensive win rate. They don't ban it, they love it. It's their map. It's going to be difficult for Falcons to take down MIBR on Kafe. I'm not saying it's impossible after what we're seeing here on Villa, but yeah, this has kind of now got 3 maps written all over it. I think the 3rd map may be very, very likely, which is Oregon. MIBR's not too bad on Oregon, but we also saw Falcons play Oregon yesterday against Team BDS. They did lose that one 7-2, but would have gained a lot of experience and knowledge.
I think there's one takeaway for me from the fact that we are going to Kafe next. I just went back and had a quick look at Falcons' previous matches in the Saudi E-League. So they actually let Kafe slip through on a number of occasions, which leads me to believe that they're not shy to play on Kafe. So although there is overwhelming evidence to suggest that MIBR are incredible on Kafe, I am not, it's not doom or gloom for me yet. The fact that it slipped through on a number of occasions in best of 3s, best of 5s for them, it really does look like they're going to be prepared for it. Speaking if they're going to be prepared, a bit of a blitz rush at the moment, they're going to send it straight into the top of round. Raps finds the first kill. They were not expecting it. Filipos has been able to get in through the 90 window, but he's shut down by a pre-placed C4. Really solid work from the Falcons, and that's the response you need. They're now turtling on site.
Top brown stairs control though established for MIBR, and in the end 1-for-1's not bad. Fleapox from that 90 position with the grapple on the Amaru had corridor control. If it wasn't for that, Nitrocell could have done a lot of damage on site. That was a massive Nitrocell to keep Falcons in a really solid position. The only downside they've got here is the lack of brown stairs control. That's entirely now on the side of MIBR and Study. But Study has been opened up. There's wall, there is sightlines for J-Lad from Volt. Still 90 seconds left in the round, and Riyadh used all of those Candelas as well to push it, but there's a couple of kills to go the way of MIBR. And that is making quick work of Team Falcons. Match point or not, doesn't matter. They come to play here after the timeout. 6-4.
Now that's definitely a pocket strat that we've seen used across a number of regions, and it's not one that you can bank on 2 times in a row for MIBR. And AVG being unlocked for the last 2 rounds here is pivotal for Falcon's success on this map. Love it from MIBR. They really shake things up there. Falcons are just not prepared for that early kind of push. And granted, there's not very often you get to see a blitz push, especially on Villa, but it's really worked to perfection there. We now go back to AVG. This is where things need to get comfortable for Falcons. They've got 2 rounds to close this map out, and I just feel like this is going to be such a tall mountain for MIBR to climb.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it, right? 2 more goes of AVG. That'll be 3 rounds in a row on this site to close out this map. So a lot of work for MIBR still. Yeah, you pull out the old strats and you go for a bit of a blitz attack, but you can't do that again. It's just not going to be allowed. And I think this is now where MIBR have to play a little bit more standard siege and have to play that very well. Or do they? That is the other thing, because I'm looking at Riyadh now, and he's actually brought out the Montang, so maybe they're just going to go for a similar play, but on a slower nature of it. Same kind of concept, Rob, but without maybe the rushed emphasis, and utilize that Monty and try and get Brownstairs position again.
Now, before we get underway with this potentially last round, obviously there is another stream going on at the moment. Team BDS taking on TSM. They are on Theme Park. It is 5-3 up for Team BDS. So if you do want to chuck across to the A stream, if you want to have both streams open, all you need to do is drop the underscore and the B in this stream, and it will take you directly to that channel at the moment. But I thoroughly must say, Falcons at this point, they've shown a lot of grit and determination on Villa. I don't see that. I don't see a world in which they falter. J-Lad, he's already peeking into art, and Lucan had no idea MIBR were not droning ahead, and that is a massive player to lose.
I like that though. Crunch time, match point. J-Lad lives up to his name and playing like a lad that just doesn't care. Makes the push down into Art from top brown stairs. It's a risky play. If Redux is not sitting on a Monty and he's watching from entrance, J-Lad just dies. But that wasn't the case. He finds a second kill on the balls. Oh no, Joker! How you win the round?
Oh no.
J-Lad was doing everything perfect, and in the end, it's not the opposition that takes him down, but his own teammates. 4 versus 3. Now they're still going to deal with the Montang on Brown's desk. That's a great nade though to the back of Redux. E1D goes out, minute 20. 4 versus 3. Still advantage for Falcons, but they took down their star man. All Epochs repels in onto the veranda safely as well. I mean, MIBR getting a couple of little 50-50 moments to go their way in this round.
I do have a drone and study. You can see the yellow ping come out there, so MIBR are going to look to potentially negate this pressure that's at the top of brown and push back up of red, and that would be kind of big. I mean, if Reduct can get into a position where they can kind of face check with the shield, it's going to make things a little bit more interesting. Now they realize, okay, sound cue, they now know we're over here. Let's rotate back to brown and put the pressure on these final couple of players. But Falcons holding strong. They've got 30 seconds left to ensure that MIBR do not walk away with this.
30 seconds away from finding their first map win here at Gamers8 for the Falcons. Rax pushes up top, brown stairs, and now trying to get in towards Study. Gets rid of that Kumite. Felipox gets rid of Joker. So from team kill to death down, not a good round from Joker. He won't want to see this one back again. 15 seconds though. Felipox looking to make the push in. Still with Reduct leading the way on that Montang. Smoke goes out. They can't find the kill zone. 0 kills. Felipox finally from Study does get down 0 kills. The Montang falls though, and so do MIBR. Team Falcons soar and take Villa 1-0 up in the series.
You cannot understate a victory like that, especially for Falcons. Their first win in the Gamers8 2022. Shaking their head to the camera. They know that that one is a big, big map to start off with. MIBR don't seem shaken, which is the big thing for me. Still kind of just relaxing in their seats, but I've got to admit, it looks like Falcons are definitely... They've got a foothold in this matchup. I really was not sure what to expect from them, but boy, they've delivered.
Well, obviously, congratulations there to Falcons getting their first map here at Gamers8, and what a way to do it as well. Totally in control, better team, and MIBR are going to be left wondering where did it all go wrong there on Villa. The beauty though for MIBR and the MIBR fans is that we're going to Kafe next, which is their bread and butter. It's where they just do not lose. So obviously, Falcons came into this series as the underdogs, and they've rose up on Villa, but they kind of go back to being the underdogs once again, despite this map win, because Kafe super sided for MIBR. It's their map pick, it's their map. Falcons will once again need to move heaven and earth if they're going to win there. I tell you what, if Falcons 2-0 MIBR, especially with Kafe involved, it would be one of the more monumental serious wins that we've ever seen in Siege. So a really, really critical start for them. I, though, feel like it's going to be Oregon, the third map, Rob. That's going to be the decider map for me.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's I think that's where we're going. If we do see this finish in 2, I'll be flabbergasted. There's no other way I want to talk about this, because Kafe, again, it looks really good for MIBR. And I do want to make sure that I reiterate, I still think Falcons are going to be comfortable heading to Kafe. We are going to go to a short break, but on the other side, the second and potentially last map of this lower bracket final.
Drop the bomb diffuser. Secure! 10 seconds to go. Bomb has been located. 10 seconds left. Bomb has been located. 5 seconds to go.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
عايز تترجم راب؟ تعالى لي. ملوك الصين دي انا ملخصه في سطور بس مين يقرا فاهم كلام الشارع ده انا هرش كل المجال حبايبي بروز
وانا كاكازوكو مصدع ايه القي نظرة لو على الحلاوة عندي كاستر والاسم
عفرت يا عفرت هتفضل معفرتها ولا ايه يا برو
انت مين يا هو ازاي ده دخل هنا يا جدعان؟
نكسر الدنيا الاول وبعدين نتكلم نعيد من الاول
لا 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 مش مسجل
اخواتي
عشان فاهمين السين سبوتيفاي عمل لك بلاي ليست الاقوى راب مصري اسمع ملوك السين ببلاش.
Map 1, definitely interesting for all of us here. Falcons take it. And I would say emphatically, I don't even know whether I can convince myself that MIBR were ever in that matchup, Xenox. It was pretty heated.
Yeah, I mean, full credit to Falcons, as we've already said. Now, though, they've got more work to do. This is the nature of best of 3 versus best of 1. If we were doing a best of 1 right now, it'd be full celebrations and you'd be asking all the questions of MIBR. But they have the opportunity to go to their own map now and redeem themselves, obviously get a little bit of revenge, and for their sake, go to a third map.
Now, very quickly before we move on, it's always important for us to take the time to thank our incredible sponsors. One, VOV. Now, if you do want to learn more about them, it's www.vovxp.com. Also, we have the incredible Aramco, which I think is MotoGP sponsor as well. You know, just quite a big name getting in there. And Dr. Suleiman Al Habib. So, again, an incredible thank you to all the sponsors for coming on for this event. Without them, it really isn't possible to put something of this size on. You've got 8 international teams at a LAN playing for $1.2 million. Speaking of those teams, Falcons and MIBR head-to-head. We go to Kafe, where we want to be very cautious about the expectations we set here for any Falcons fans in chat. We saw quite a few, Xenox. So this one is going to definitely favour MIBR, at least from the outset. And where it goes from there in the server, it's anyone's guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's not to imply Falcons can't win here. I think what we saw in Villa suggests that they can actually win here on Kafe, but all the numbers, all the stats, all the history says this is MIBR's map. This is their map pick. They've not lost on this
Attackers need to
calendar
locate
year.
and defuse
So
bombs.
we have to just sit back and say, okay, MIBR favored a bit, going into Kafe. What can Falcons do? Now, the one benefit here for Falcons, Rob, is they're on the defense early here on Kafe. So I think this is going to allow them to get a good foothold, get a couple of early rounds. I don't think Kafe is as defender-sided as it used to be, especially back in 2021. I think it's come a little bit closer to 50, 55%. If you look at the Brazil League, 53% defensive win rate, so in the middle there. So obviously, being on the defense is not going to just guarantee you round wins. Attackers have just gotten a lot
10
better,
seconds left before
especially with
insertion.
attacker repick, breaking down these sites on Kafe. So if I'm
5
Falcons,
seconds to go.
I think a 4-2 half is really good. 3-3 half, par for the course.
Intriguing to see the bans,
Locate a
actually.
bomb and
Nomad and Ying being banned out on the attack. Definitely the Ying one probably raises eyebrows for me more so than anything else, especially when it's coming out from Falcons. Don't know whether they've read into something from MIBR, but regardless, a ban that follows suit, and Nomad so impactful on a map like Kafe. You can pretty much cut out any flank, any roam potential with one measly piece of gadgetry. Is that even a word?
Well, we saw the
Attackers
Ying
located a bomb.
in one of the rounds for one of their blitz attacks on ABG. So they employed that, and I think a map like Kafe, there's a good couple of rounds that you can find a use for Ying. Bar Cocktail, probably one of those. You can throw the Candelas in the skylight. You can also clear areas like top red really easily with those Candelas. So if MIBR has employed it, and this is something that they don't want to have to deal with, I don't mind. Boy, early kills.
Where?
Out the window. I mean, that is an awful start for MIBR. It's just a free round now for Falcons.
Provided they don't give too much back into MIBR's favor. A-Joker coming up the top side, and he will be caught out. Luca knows he's there, so they're going to wait for him to try and make the move. J-Lad's gone low as well. Falcons are going to be really careful here. You do not want to give too much over to MIBR. The swings are coming out.
Okay.
Reduct goes absolutely nuclear. Falcons have let the ball slip in a massive way.
Yeah, they've misplayed that. I think they got a little too greedy. They got the first 2 kills and sends blood in the water. Joker does get the kill back onto Reduct, but MIBR played that perfectly. After losing the first 2 players, what do? Drop red, get Cigar balcony control, try and get a few shots back, and it almost plays right into the hands of Falcons, right? But the only problem there is Falcons remained aggressive. They didn't need to. They got the first 2 kills on a Bar Cocktail defense. From that point, just play defense, sit back and wait for MIBR to have to force the engagements. Don't run at them. And that's the downside there of Falcons getting too overzealous and getting punished for it.
Defenders protect your
In a
bombs.
round that I think
Used by
Falcons could have
attackers.
really snatched. They give an easy round back to MIBR.
You'd be fuming a little bit, and by a little bit I mean a lot of it. That's really something that is going to hurt Falcons' defense, especially when we're talking about, you know, it being such a 50-50 map at the moment. Generally, what the scoreline is showing is indication of what's actually happening inside the server. So
Well,
this
it
is a
also
big
goes
one.
away from how they played on Villa for Falcons. They were not overly aggressive like that. That was actually that round there is probably the fastest we've seen from them. So slow it down a little bit. You know, go back to what was working on Villa. Get those first 2 kills, and if they had done that on Villa, they would have just held their positions. They would not have gone gun ho, shift W over towards Cigar Shot. Like they would have actually maybe even fallen back. Hold Pixel, hold Washroom. You don't have to go even beyond that. And also the Kiba barrier in the middle. As well. I mean, that's cool, but you get kind of pinched. You get kind of trapped there as well. So I think Falcons just need to, it was a very fun, exciting first map. Not a bad start here on Kafe either. But just calm yourselves down a little bit.
There is 8 sets of explosive utility on the map right now. 8 operators have brought explosives. And for me, the big one is obviously MIBR bringing 6 nades. With the Wamai band, they can be so impactful. And you know what? Like, it even goes to show there's no Jaeger on Falcons either. So these nades could well and truly make and break this round. Unless, of course, Falcons go and do what they did last round. They could completely squander that altogether. But this is a really quite an explosive round for both sides.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Yeah, deja vu, they get the first kill, but you know, don't go looking for much more. It's kind of interesting. I think actually the fact that they got the 2 kills actually almost ended up being a detriment for them. And that's just such a, well, The nade into cigar shop to clear is I think very prominent. You see that a lot here in Kafe. So I think Q6 just gets taught a lesson there. And I think maybe put too much trust in the in that position, the mute jammers, but ultimately it shouldn't probably be in that position. And again, it goes back to that first round. You know, you get that kill, but you're still sitting in cigar shop. You just don't have to be. There's a minute 30 left in the round. It's a position the attackers will get. Don't let them kill you as well when they get it.
Oh, hello. Another nade. So that's already one of the kills that have gone the way of the Pokeball. And the nades actually flushed J-Lad out of the position and back in a freeze. And Luke has been able to find that freely. And Falcons are nowhere to be seen. Where are they? What is their approach to this site? They've only got one C4 left. Lukid is ripping heads off of the shoulders of Falcons. And with only 2 players left, there is far too much work to get done.
Like, why is 0 kills top right stairs on a bar cocktail defense? Like, okay, I think they had maybe a player pixel washroom, but there was not much really on site. They allowed the drop in from Skylight. There was way too much emphasis defensively from Falcons on top red. They need to move away from this site. Raps gets the kill into 0 kills. Joker top right again as well. I mean, what's with this fascination of top right stairs? It's really cost them. It's a position, Rob, that's too far back. You're allowing too much entry onto site. The extremes from Falcons there. Too aggressive, cigar shop, too defensive, white stairs. It's all about washrooms, pixels, making sure they can't get the Skylight drop. Player inside around Freezer has to be doing a little bit more defensively. J-Lad dies too easily. And then those on site of Cocktail didn't really offer much either. So a very Swiss cheese kind of defense there from Falcons on Bar Cocktail. And yeah, they're going to move away from that because MIBR have just got that on lock now.
Big issue for me is I don't think you can really afford to not bring Jaeger in any of these sites. Like, just with the potential for nades from pretty much everywhere, especially on the top floor. You think about the hatches, you think about the windows. There are so many little boxes that you try to hold. You're thinking about freezer, you're thinking about washroom. I guess maybe cigar if you want to get aggressive, but there are so many POIs for the defense that you're going to need Jaeger for, especially when the Wamai's banned out. You can't afford to not be playing any kind of util denial. This is really interesting as well. You've got all 3 ADSs sitting in prep. This is, if it falters again here for Falcons, we've really got to see a timeout. They've got to take a moment to reset and kind of think about this strategy, because it doesn't look overwhelmingly positive for me.
Yeah, especially when you consider the way that prep is dealt with. It's not necessarily a util dump area in terms of trying to get control. In general, actually, you kind of use your utility to clear out bakery, and then you're in bakery, and then you kind of clear prep from there. So I'm a little bit confused about 3 ADSs sitting inside of prep as well. The way that Luca is obviously just kind of scanning out bakery here, they're just understanding the situation. J-Lad finds a kill to Riyadh. It is one thing that has been going well for Falcons though here on Kafe.
Yes.
So I think that's 3 rounds in a row now they've got the opening kill. It's about being able to convert. And yeah, J-Lad, he's forced back already. You've opened up prep for them, and even though you've got the ADSs, he does find the kill because Polypox, I mean, I don't know why Thatcher's just peeking that, but a couple of kills go for J-Lad and makes us look a little bit silly. But you can see, based on his positioning, Rob, that the ADS is already kind of useless now.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, they've done their job for the first portion of the round, but you still want to see something as useful as an ADS, probably in a more advantageous position. But, you know, like, we're probably going to be saying that if he doesn't find the kills, but the fact that he has found the kills, it completely, it almost drops the conversation, unfortunately. So now with the 2 players up, this is, again, another pivotal round for Falcons. This will be the 2nd round, or the 3rd round in a row that they have been able to find the opening kill. And the 3rd round in a row, they have instantly dropped players when they're in the advantageous position.
Well, it's this mid-round point, right, where they get the first couple of kills, but then MIBR are just better adapt to being able to find their way into the side at that point and then get into good positions, and Falcons are just not able to find kills in the mid portion. And yeah, you're at 5-3, but it doesn't take much to find 2 kills back if you're MIBR. Now it's a 3 versus 3. Pressure on Freezer. Pressure bakery side as well. I mean, right now, Falcons are probably relying on another J-Lad special here. find a couple more kills and almost does so. JLad versus Luca.
Drop the bomb.
1v1 here in service, and it's Joker though that finds the kill onto Falls. Rats pushes in, red ping, they know exactly where JLad is on site now, but they don't have the diffuser.
That's big.
So do need to go and pick that up, and not a lot of time.
No, that's the massive point here. Kit's still open. Out in the open, sorry, and the fact that Joker's got a fantastic position in prep. Mad Skills can cut off any of the rotates. MIBR are going to have to go in from the backside of prep, and Joker fortunately shoulder peeks the backside just to ensure that no one's coming from there. Mad Skills has come across as well. This is really well played from Falcons at the final portion of that round. They need to tidy up phase 2 though.
Yeah, I mean, much better. I mean, you're right, phase 1, the early portions of these rounds have... All 3 rounds have gone the way of Falcons when it comes to opening kills, when it comes to getting the early leads, but the middle portion has been costing them big. Now, fortunately, that was a pretty good end of round as well. Good late round execute, didn't get too overzealous. They were able to hold their positions really well, and obviously Diffuser kind of stuck in prep really was the biggest detriment there for MIBR that they couldn't just overcome at all. The one good sign there, though, for Falcons is that even though they struggled on Bar Cocktail, you go straight down to kitchen cooking, and guess what? Success first time around. It wasn't the cleanest round, but success. And now you go to a site that I feel like is still one of the stronger sites in reading fire plays, but I'm very curious. Do they play the conventional way? Do they hold above Bar Cocktail, play around Pixel Washrooms, put that pressure on, the vert hold? We've seen teams on Kafe now, Rob, and this kind of day and age, it's a little bit more horizontal pressure. Yeah, Pillar has become a bigger focus as well.
Yeah, many moons ago it was just bars that you'd be trying to get control of, you know, anywhere on Cocktail to open up those lines of sight, and it's changed, not, I wouldn't say dramatically, but it's certainly changed the way that teams play. One thing I need to see for Falcons right now, especially, look, Bar Cocktail, make of it what you will, where Falcons are getting aggressive after they find the first 2 picks, because it's such an open site, it is actually kind of difficult to sit back and wait for the attackers to push in. But kitchen was a big issue for me because there are so many choke points that you can cut the attackers out as they try to move forward. So that was a bit of a warning sign for me. I want to see if they can find the early pick, you know, yet again, another 4th round here. I would love to see them play a little bit more reserved, but they might actually go fast here. MIBR, lovely peek from A Joker. That's fantastic.
Yeah, great from Joker, but Felipox just kind of walks in while he's looking up towards the cigar balcony. Q6 does die in response elsewhere, but Rap's going down. Even though that LG did find 1 kill, no more from it. Joker, Kona Station, can obviously heal back up. Nitrocell still in hand as well. Really good utility available here for Falcons, and if they can make it 2 from 2, it puts them in a good position to close out this half and get closer to that 3-3 scoreline that I think is par for the course here. Reduct over towards Red Stairs, though, on the move. And he has not been spotted out. No intel on his current position.
Oh, wow. How good's that little shoulder peek? Forces him off the angle as well. Luca's going to go straight up pillar and take the fight with Joker, who was not expecting that. Fantastic work from MIBR to crunch and pinch Joker out of the map. At this point, sidelined, he can only sit back on cams and hope for the rest of the team to step up and make these plays. But the calm before the storm here for MIBR. This is the perfect time for them to reset. They've got, you know, the sledge that they can go and open up the vertical on if they do so choose to, but it doesn't look like they're going to do so whatsoever.
Yeah, but we're also getting towards crunch time, execution time, and this is where Falcons have also been somewhat okay. It's the middle portion of the round that they've been losing a lot of. JLad, beautiful little peek. Lucas sits down, and yeah, now you're getting towards the execution phase, and Falcons have done well here. And MIBR, the last 2 players are still above in bar, so there's not a lot of time. Falcons have the numbers. I think they've done it again here, Rob. And 0 kills, the flank. I mean, you've got the extra player. Why not go for it? Ball does have diffuser, but in the 1 versus 3, no time. It's 2-2 here on Kafe.
Unless, I couldn't imagine a 1 versus 3 trying to push through reading. This is what we needed to see from Falcons. You find the picks, the crucial picks, and then you can sit back and watch the rest of the round unfold. He's going to get through a choke point that is near impossible, and he'll just take the 5 seconds to talk to the rest of MIBR. Fantastic work from Falcons. After 2 unsuccessful attempts on the top floor, they have reined it back in, and they are looking like the team that we saw back on Villa. I also love that from Zero Kills, by the way. Sitting tarps, waiting to hear those breaching charges to go off before he shows face. That's the kind of play that I think Falcons will end up winning on.
Yeah, but guess what? They're going to go back to top 4. They're going to go back to Bar Cocktail. Obviously, Kitchen Cooking, Reading Fireplace now locked out. They will get to repeat one of those. Well, they'll get to repeat Kitchen Cooking for the 6th round, Rob. So that will become available again. I think the Falcons in a good position to 3-3 this half. Unless they can turn their fortunes around here on Bar Cocktail. If they do that, suddenly 4-2 could be on the cards for them. So what have they learned from the last 2 rounds compared to the first 2 rounds? Surely has to be that they were over-aggressing on Bar Cocktail. Their positions too far forward or too far back. Hold your freezer, hold your washrooms and pixel, hold a player inside a cocktail so they can't drop skylight. Don't worry if they get cigar shot. That's fine. We've seen teams get full cigar control with still like 2 minutes on the clock. It happens. Bar Cocktail is kind of like a stalemate. It's a standoff.
Yeah.
It's all about the execute. Don't allow them though to be in a better position going into the execute.
Oh, this is dangerous. Mad skills. That could have been definitely a little bit cheeky to kickstart that round. We'll back away instead, though. And this is, you know, like, this is what has been successful for Falcons, is taking an aggressive early fight, and they have won it 4 rounds in a row. They have taken the opening kill 4 rounds in a row here, which has just been absolutely nuclear. And then from there, that's where things get a little bit dicey. So I'm keen to see Falcons once again find the opening pick, but then where do we play from there and just tighten things up all across the board. But MIBR are going to well and truly test the durability of this site.
I'll tell you what, Falcons, if they can win a 3rd round in a row, puts the pressure right onto MIBR. But for the first time in this map, it's MIBR opening kill. Luke close to death, but the adrenal surge from Raps will recover some health. O-Kills just full white and running around white stairs as well. Reduct has red stairs control. Oh, this is such an aggressive play from Mad Skills. O-Kills actually got the kill onto Philippox though. Despite the pressure, out white stairs has done a tremendous job. And 90 seconds left, and it's getting to that point in the round though where if MIBR can't find that advantage, I sense they may struggle in the last portions of this round.
Yep. Very well could. Jaylet in a very difficult position. If they are not checked, he's going to go absolutely massive here. I don't know whether they've got a drone in the position for MIBR to actually make this work. So that is going to really, really put a bit of a burner on this round. Joker still down below. This is a really... this is a pivotal moment right now. Falcons find this pick. They're in serious strife. Oh, no.
They went straight past J-Lad. He stands up, gets the easy kill onto Reduct. Joker on the run. But, yeah, MIBR now starting to just sort of wonder what's going on. Luke gets the kill onto Mad Skills, who was still lingering down below, but it was Pillar. J-Lad under pressure in backstore, though. He's forced away. And, honestly, MIBR have done a really good job in pressure positions on this site. Joker top white, gets the kill onto Raps, falls is planting. That diffuser, Luke at half health. Red ping goes out. Joker, he's scared to peek, but no, gets the kill onto Luke. Diffuser down. It's a swing from Falls and a crucial 1v1. Falls is able to come out on top. A big round win for MIBR.
Oh, wow. That was massive from Joker. What an attempt, but you got to give credit to MIBR there. What was it, 3-1? At a certain point, they are really dangerous on that top floor. 3 attempts from Falcons, not one successful at all. That is not great. Not great. But we go down to Kitchen, and this is where we were really impressed in the, I would say, in the first and the third phase, but definitely the middle portion of the map we were really concerned about.
Yeah, and MIBR now get the opportunity to put themselves in a 4-2 scenario, and if that does eventuate, hard to look past them being able to then go over to the defense and close out this map. So a massive round now for Falcons. Had they been able to clutch up and win that last round and go up 3-2 here, all the pressure would have been on the side of MIBR. Now that pressure's just relieved a little bit.
5 seconds remaining.
I think one thing that Falcons need to do well here, and they've actually done it really well all map long so far in this first half, but start well. I think they need the first kill or two, but then go into their shells a little bit, play on-site defense, and then hope that they'll have the numbers for the late round XE. If they do that, I think they win the round. But there's been points where they get the first 1 or 2 kills and then they put themselves out of position and look for more. And then that's when MIBR has been punishing them in the middle portions of these rounds.
Yep. Certainly has been.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, wow. And again, O'Kills with a big opening pick onto Raps. That's the Finker down as well. That's 2 nades down. Not that the nades have actually had a hell of a lot of use. I definitely thought we'd see a lot more coming out from that, but instead it is going to be a little bit of a push here. Joker's going to sit back. J-Lad's gone down, going aggressive by Bakery. Again, the opening pick goes the way of the Falcons, and they let the advantage slip.
Yeah, I get you're playing the Oryx, but enough with the spawn picks up above. Like, just get good positions here, because MIBR is the kind of team that can push through, get a kill. If you get the kill onto Joker, you've got Bakery, and if you've got Bakery and you've got defenders that are still in Cigar, I mean, there's no reason they can't just waltz on the site. And yeah, they do get the kill onto Joker. So where's this on-site defense from Falcons? It's
there.
Kills.
It's there.
There it is. Goes big on the Aruni with the Roni. 90 seconds left, and Falcons with a 3 versus 2, and they have shut down this Bakery push.
Asking you shall receive. That is for damn sure. O'Kills has gone massive in this round. A triple kill with the opening as well. Crazy he's not using the DMR though. He is using the Roni. Another one! A quad kill in the round for O'Kills. May well finish the ace. Philippox is on such low HP. And Mad Skills has come across as well. The kit is down. Irretrievable for Philippox.
He called it out. He's called it out. Mad Skills could have peeked that. He's seen it. He got the shoulder pick on Philippox, so he's called it to O'Kills to get the 5 here. And worst case, if O'Kills does die, Mad Skills will get the trade. So O'Kills' position here, he just has to stand up and shoot. They know where the diffuser is. Playing this so patiently. The trigger discipline, the movement discipline. He swings. O'Kills. 5 kills. It's an ace. Falcons close out the half. It's 3-3 on Kafe.
Such an important round, and I mean, you're not going to ask much more from any of the players on Falcons. That is absolutely massive from O'Kills, from start to finish, proving that this roster right now is a menacing threat. The opening kill out toward bus stop, and then of course the double in prep. From there, the round really started to snowball out of control. They now go to attack, and MIBR's defense, I really feel like this is where Falcons going to be tested the most so far in this series is MIBR's Kafe defense.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Could also just put it this way, but MIBR is 4 rounds away from being defeated.
Yes.
And sent packing from Gamers8. I mean, Falcons are just getting closer and closer, right? It's going to get to that point. And you know what? It's already gotten to that point where history and the stats are just completely thrown out the window now. Falcons getting the 3-3 half. And I think they're good enough on what has been a very aggressive team. You bring that to now an attack going into Kafe, a map that is not as defender-sided as it used to be. You see the stats, it's all closer to 50 to 55%. So they are well and truly in this game. Who cares if MIBR has not lost on Kafe this calendar year? Records are meant to be broken, Rob, and one could very well be just about to be broken.
And you know what? It does look like the winner of this game, which honestly, Falcons at this point, I'm on that bandwagon, will be going up against TSM, who currently are 4-1 down on Clubhouse, and they are the map down. So very well, Falcons may have to play one of the NAL powerhouses. O'Kills straight into Cocktail could really put a lot of pressure on here. And this is a crucial engagement. Instead of going for it, O'Kills actually just backs away and takes control of the top floor, but Lucas not giving it up without a fight, Xenox.
No. And MIBR need to dig deep here. The pressure's now right on them to do well on the defense. O-Kills is just going nuts right now, along with J-Lad as well on the Jackal in washrooms. MIBR, for what feels like the 7th time on this map, I've lost 2 players early. The one saving grace for them, Rob, is they've done a really good job at bringing rounds back from this kind of deficit. This is the one area that has probably let down the Falcons. They get these 1 or 2 kills early, but MIBR have always been able to get the next 2.
That's just it. This is where things have crumbled. But the massive advantage is now Falcons are on the attack. They are, I mean, unless they feel like they need to get aggressive to try and find yet another pick, they don't have to worry about that. They just have to make a call on what this execution is going to be. This may well be the stark contrast. I think, what, all but 1 round so far. So 6 out of the 7 rounds, Falcons have found the opening picks. And in 3 of those rounds, actually, no, sorry, make it 4 of those rounds, it's been a double opening pick. So this has really been to the detriment of the Brazilians. That they do not kind of tidy up these early rounds, I am 100% convinced we are done in 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to question that, isn't it? 40 seconds left for Falcons. You're on the attack now. So time not really your friend. Philippe Pox takes a big chunk of damage. Inox scanner being put to work. J-Lad, there's another one. 5 versus 2, and surely they can't falter from this position. Falls, big kill, needed it desperately. Rat still with 1 more gas bay, throws it out with 20 seconds left. That will soon dissipate, and maybe then the hopes of MIBR with it. Drop down from Mad Skills into Freezer. They've got the ping, bomb chassis available. Can they get the default plan? They don't need it. Q6, quick double kill to close the round out. 4-3 lead now for Falcons, 3 rounds away from sending MIBR out of this tournament.
I said this is where Falcons' biggest test this series was going to come, on the attack of Kafe, and they have just passed with the biggest check ever. MIBR now have to move to Fireplace and Mining, actually. That is...
What? Oh, they're going into the strap books.
Yeah, I need to go and have a look at this, actually, because I definitely do not feel like that is a site that is played no matter where you... Oh, no, to be fair, in Brazil, it is the more played site than Reading Dining.
Wow,
yeah, Reading
5
Dining.
to 3 is not a massive sample size.
No, it's not. And, you know, when Kafe's only been played 3 times, we don't have a hell of a lot of data to go off. But technically, it's nearly played twice as much.
Well, I do wonder then, is this the pocket pick for MIBR on Kafe? Is this something that they feel they can go to when things are not looking that great, that you can just bring out this site that teams don't generally play or don't really play against, for that matter? But I will say it's a big respect move here to the Falcons. You're pulling something out that we don't conventionally see, at least in APAC. As you said, maybe in Brazil it's played a little bit more than Reading Fireplace, but it's just such a difficult site to defend. It's why we don't see it all that often. But if you know how to defend it, you've got your own strats for it, and then you get to back yourselves in.
Genuinely think that if there's a team that's going to back themselves today, it's going to be Falcons. They are on a heater, Xenox. We like to use that saying every now and then. The hot hand seems to be in favor of Saudi Arabians at the moment. Joker and, I mean, look, to be honest, J-Lad and no-kills have been fantastic, but I feel like Joker on Villa and now on Kafe has found some incredibly crucial kills. The impactful type that really do change rounds, change games altogether. Falcons really struggling to find an opening onto MIBR in the first minute of this round, but this is exactly what MIBR will be playing for on this second floor, making it a lot harder for that contact to come in. And now, this is when Falcons are finally going to be tested. You don't have that opening pick, you don't have that advantage, so how do you find your hit?
Yeah, 100%. It's been such a strength of Falcons here on Kafe, is their ability to get those opening kills, have those advantages. But on a site like this, where I think the roam game is going to be so prevalent, does that maybe play into Falcons a little bit? Well, not straight away. It does not. Philippox gets the first kill. Traded, though, by J-Lad immediately on the sledge, but he is low on health, and they'll probably need that sledge here for a bit of vert play. Minute left, though. Time will become a factor. Joker uses the first of his 3 adrenal surges. Reduck, well, it's actually Luke that falls to Q6, but Reduck needs to start making some plays on site. So does Falls and Raps, because suddenly it's Falcons that have the advantage once again.
Yeah.
Player over towards Cocktail Balcony. Falls is down. He's gone.
That's not him, though. I think that was actually Raps. Yeah, it was that dropped down into Reading and now completely off site. I don't know whether they have the information on where he is. You've got to be careful coming down white stairs, but a 4 versus 2 has turned into a 4 versus 1, and Joker shuts it out. Falcons are having none of it. This is going to be one of the biggest victories we have ever seen.
Wow. Absolutely tore them to shreds. If that was supposed to be the pocket pick for MIBR, they might just be out of ideas as to how to slow down the Falcons. It's a tactical timeout from MIBR, down 3-5 on Kafe on their map pick in the second map of this series, where the Falcons already took Villa 7-4, which means Falcons are 2 rounds away from defeating MIBR in a best of 3. I mean, this is fairy tale stuff, Rob. I mean, if yesterday was all about Wild, maybe today is going to be all about the Falcons.
And, you know, to talk about the MIBR storyline, this would really cement quite a rough year. Outside of their SI performances both last year and this year, they have not performed anywhere near the expectations. You know, 7th and 8th in the last 2 domestic leagues. You can see the frustration actually coming out from MIBR right now.
Yeah, they're not happy.
No, they know what this means. They know that this is absolutely not up to scrap from them. And really, they lose this game, and there are massive questions that need to be asked.
Yeah. Now, spoilers here for the match that is happening on the A stream. If you do not want to know how that match is playing out, 3, 2, 1, that's your final chance to pause and mute. 6-1 match point to Team BDS. So they're at 2-0 TSM rather easily as well, which does mean Falcons are 2 rounds away from setting up a date against TSM. That's a big match for the Falcons. And it's a bit of a disaster for TSM. BDS have kind of just torn them to shreds, but
10 seconds left.
I mean, the fact is, it's Falcons that will be taking on TSM if things continue to play out the way they are.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb.
It is 100% on for Falcons, and this is just going to be quite a massive W. But the fact of the matter is, there is still enough time, enough rounds for MIBR. If this goes to match point for Falcons, I am well and truly convinced that we kind of just stick a fork in it and move on. And we book Falcons for TSM. That's... I really have been impressed with Falcons' pacing in this tournament. They have really, at least in the last 2 matches on Villa and Kafe, we've really seen what they're made of, and we've seen the damage that they've been able to cause to some, I would say, decently big names. You know, BDS is a huge name in Siege, and MIBR, although that they're not at the majors, they certainly do turn up when it matters at SI. So this is by no means a sloucher in terms of a competition. You know, this is a massive one for Falcons to be able to take away. And once again, we do get to see what happens when the round is slower for Falcons and they're not getting antsy. They are not forcing anything. They are seriously composed, which, again, I wasn't sure what to expect coming into this.
Seconds left in the round. All eyes now on MIBR, though, to fight back. It's been all Falcons. They've led the way back on Villa, now on Kafe, being the better team. So the team that has been beaten up comprehensively needs to respond. And they can't find it. Lucan has just not been able to have the impact. Joker, no surprise. Gaining a lot of fans worldwide right now, and rightfully so from Joker 619. Bye-bye Reduct and bye-bye MIBR. Falcons are here to stay. Deservedly so. Been so impressive in the way that they've played. Joker does fall though. Can get himself back up though with the adrenal surge and does so. Can get away safely. O-kills. Reds to Hez. Prone. 40 seconds left. And they start to make the move towards site. And to start to make their date with TSM a reality.
Oh,
Wrapped so low from being eliminated. Can MIBR stand tall and find a way back into this match, into this series? Or do they just go out with a whimper?
I think a whimp is all it's going to be over the top. J-Lag, can he find the kill? No! Oh, falls to Philippox. They may well start to get this game back under wraps here for MIBR. Mad Skills looking to try and shut this down, but every single time Falcons step inside the site, they're being shut down. Now we're seeing a response from Falcons. Raps, where are you? You're in the corner and you're shut down. It's match point for the Falcons, and MIBR are close to being sent home.
What a round from both Philippox and O-kills. You have to touch on Philippox a little bit there as well. Rob did such a good job in trying to deny that freezer drop down. And I think for a second, he was about to pull off the miraculous, but O-kills shuts it down last second. Match point, 3 of them as well for the Falcons.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
What a
defused by
story
attackers.
for this team. They were a team that, for the large majority of the world, an unknown quantity for this tournament. They showed up against Team BDS on border, couldn't quite get the result that they were looking for, but that result has been found in this match against MIBR. A staggering result at that as well. You go back, you look at the numbers. MIBR have not lost on this map in their region this calendar year. It's their best map statistically. Nothing even comes remotely close to it, and they are being soundly beaten. It is one-sided. It is all too easy for the Falcons. Double digits for Joker, double digits for J-Lag, double digits for O-kills. And the support we're seeing as well from Q6 and Mad Skills. They are a solidified team. And playing as if that they honestly could probably give TSM a really good run for their money. That is a match that all eyes will need to see later on.
I mean, this is just what happens when regions clash, right? You just have no idea what to expect. You've got all the statistics, you've got all the expectations, but they can all be broken in one single map, and that's exactly what Falcons have done here. We said leading into this match, yes, Falcons aren't shy to play Kafe. I think we've only seen it once in their domestic league, but they have let it slip through in the best of threes as, you know, deciding maps as such. But this game, this is cementing what has been an unbelievable performance in this best of 3 in this series so far. And I am convinced Falcons could well have a look in, a shoe-in against a team like TSM if they continue to perform on this level.
Throwing frag.
O-kills. Nade onto Lukid. It's just looking like the fairy tale is coming to fruition. It's a disaster for MIBR. They are being resoundly beaten comfortably by Falcons, the better team in this entire series. Reduct. Maybe one last stand from Cigar Shop against the double kill. Some deja vu from the earlier rounds. Make that 3 from Reduct. Wants to go out swinging. It's a shame the rest of his team is not doing so, but Reduct doing as much as he possibly can as a one-man army for MIBR. The Mad Skills and Joker still alive. That LMG of the Thinker still something to be dealt with. 2 versus 3, but Falcons on the back foot momentarily.
Reduct as it was in the first round, as it is here in the 10th. A massive triple kill from Cigar has really given MIBR a bit of life. But is it going to be enough to sustain it?
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
A Joker 619 has been impeccable, and he is now left on his lonesome in a 1 versus 3 kit on the top floor And I think this is where Falcons take in-game timeout. They can relax. They can wait for this game to unfold. They're going to sit back and talk about what can happen for the last 2 rounds, what they can do to ensure a 2-0 clean sweep against what we thought was going to be a highly competitive team here at Gamers8. This is monstrous.
It's not over yet, though.
10 seconds to go.
Still more to be played here on Kafe. We go to 6-4.
5 seconds remaining.
MIBR have 2 more chances to send this one to overtime, to extend this series.
Operators, you are out of time.
Smart play from Joker. I don't mind it, as you were kind of alluding to, Rob, but it allows them to kind of just sit back and really talk things over, give them a bit of time, almost like a timeout, essentially, without having to actually take one.
Yep.
Still, 2 match points, though, for Falcons. Still, they are in the driver's seat to take out this series, but MIBR will now head once again to Fireplace Mining. It was, though, defeated pretty soundly last time. It wasn't the pocket pick that we thought it was going to be.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Good thing for Falcons with taking that that final. I would say that was almost like a minute left. It was about 45 seconds plus threat. The good thing about taking that is it allows you to keep that tactical timeout for this round if it doesn't go your way, and then you've got, you know, a final round to play with before you go to OT. So at this current moment, it's not doom and gloom. It is really in a positive light for Falcons, regardless of whether he could have won that 1v3 or not. Kit's on the very top floor, so the fact that you're going to get back down and fight is just near impossible. Now, big conversation to be had. I believe TSM has well and truly been knocked down into the lower bracket. Let me just confirm that. They have indeed. They've been 2-0'd by BDS. The score on the A stream was 7-3 on Theme Park and then 7-1 on Clubhouse. So TSM's going to be coming into this next matchup a bit like MIBR as a wounded beast. So Falcons, they may well be able to do as we saw Wild do and kind of cause a bit of havoc, a bit of an upset. So this is a really big moment for Falcons campaign, but also for them as a team and MENA as a region.
Drone ready.
They've got to keep the focus, though, here and now. They can't be thinking ahead, and they wouldn't be. Obviously, they don't know that what's happened on the other stream. They're just entirely focused here to finish off Kafe, to finish off this series, to finish off MIBR, and it's J-Lad that gets the opening kill. They have such a good track record here on Kafe when they find that opening pick, and they've done it again. They get rid of Philippox, and it feels like there's only one player, though, for MIBR that is standing tall, and it's Reduct on that mute, has a nitrocell. That's probably the only player I would look to right now for MIBR to stand tall once again. Luca had done that quite a bit yesterday, but it's just not having that kind of day today. Well, that nitrocell does get ripped. Did it get thrown? No. Just prepping. 90 seconds left on piano stage now for O kills. 13 and 5. A big moment here, though, for the Falcons in the mid-round, going into the execution phase. Can they find the next kill? Gas bait going out by Luca, but it's pressure time now on MIBR's defense.
Cornered as well for MIBR. Are they going to try and force fights? Are they just going to continue to waste time? It doesn't make a difference. Q6 on the other side of the map off screen has taken down Reduct. He has been phenomenal so far in this series, and with him down and out, you've got to look to the rest of MIBR, and they are crumbling. Joker, it's all there. They're waiting for the foot to drop, and Falcons have knocked out MIBR in a flawless last round. What a moment for the Saudi Arabian fans.
What a moment for just any Siege fan to see a match like that, to see a team like that come through with a victory against a historic team like MIBR. They are shattered. They are dismayed. They cannot believe what has just happened to them. But Falcons, by far and away, the better team. This was not a fluke, Rob. This was not by chance. They absolutely took them apart, and the Falcons have a date with TSM.
What a match. You can see the devastation for MIBR. You saw it in a number of the cam cuts that we had in the middle of the match. A lot of MIBR
I wish
players.
we could just stay on them and just,
I know.
follow them into the break room or whatever. Because I mean, what a story! What an absolute story!
No, that's something that is that is very much on par with what we were talking about with Wild yesterday, if not even more so. You know, Wild is currently, they beat Rogue and they beat Heroic to get here. We haven't seen Falcons play in an international tournament. We haven't seen them play T1 teams. And look, MIBR, you can probably argue maybe they are, maybe they aren't a T1 team. At the end of the day, they show up at international events. It's been shown when they go to SI, what, 3rd and 4th? I think they've finished in the last 2 SIs. This is, you can't understate how big this victory is for Falcons, but also how big it is for the region. This now puts them on the map, and heading into a game against TSM, this is the biggest opportunity that these players will have for some time.
And don't get this twisted. They can beat TSM. They really, really can. I think I've seen enough from them. The Oregon game on against BDS yesterday, and then just the way that they dismantled MIBR. I mean, this was flawless. I mean, the fact that they finished it quite flawless as well. TSM beatable, in my opinion, because we actually got to see the TSM MIBR game as well yesterday, Rob. We got to cast that. Yep. The similarities are actually quite stark in the end. MIBR got 2-0'd by TSM, and then they got 2-0'd as well by the Falcons. So from what we've seen, Falcons played on a pretty similar level to TSM. So that is going to be a very, very fascinating matchup. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
It certainly will. We're going to go to a short break. We'll be back in just a short moment.